Thanks for sidetracking the whole bloody thing. This is...
I was like, I'm pretty sure I wrote that down right. Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Can we
Sorry.
get back to my idea? Thanks.
You're welcome.
We like to start with a proverb. Would you like to read today's proverb,
I
homie?
absolutely want to read.
Put on your glasses.
Thank you,
Grandpa.
My old man. It's so bad. I wear glasses just pretty much all the time now. It is what it is. I just need to go get LASIK and be done with it. Proverbs 17:11, and it says, "An evil man is bent only on rebellion. A merciless official will be sent."
A merciful.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just want to make sure we get that one right. I want to repeat it.
Official will be sent against him. So an evil man, our topic for the day is we're talking about what do you do when a child rebels? So that's our topic for the day. And so we always like to take this proverb and apply it to it. And so an evil man is bent only on rebellion. 75% of youth rebel in some way. And rebellion is just...
Not 100%?
It's like when I was looking it up, it's 75%.
I wonder what they define rebellion as.
Well, when I looked up rebellion and I wanted to kind of...
Well, we'll probably get into that. Sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack you. We can hit that up in a bit.
Yeah,
Keep going with your point.
But point is this, if we know that a high percentage of kids rebel, we know that there's going to be consequences that come with that. And our hope, especially when it comes to our kids, is that they don't have to deal with the legality of some of these issues that they could be coming up with, because this merciful official will be sent against him. That could be the law. It could be you. It could be a variety of things. But Romans 13:1 tells us that all authority was instituted by God. And it says that when we go against the authority of this world, that we're actually going against the authority of God. And so we should know on the backside when we rebel that there's consequences that come with that. Now, our hope, especially when it comes to kids, is that, that the consequences that they bear aren't life-changing consequences, but because we have a God that loves us, he will send somebody after. He will chase you. He will, because he loves you and he wants to bring you back to him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I'm going to repeat it. Proverbs 17:11, "An evil man is bent only on rebellion. A merciful official will be sent against him." And I thought, as I was reading this, I must have read it 10 times in a row. And I went back and I went back to Proverbs 17:10, which says, "A rebuke impresses a man of discernment more than 100 lashes a fool." A rebuke impresses a man of discernment more than 100 lashes a fool. And what's being contrasted there, and this is how I start to get to this 17:11. A man who has discernment would accept when, and I hope to be a man of discernment, is I run an idea past you and you'll go, "Hey man, that's dumb and here's why."
Right.
And I go, and I accept your rebuke and I course correct. But a foolish man...
A cruel messenger will be sent against him.
Yeah.
It is merciless.
Oh, well, all right. Thanks for sidetracking the whole bloody thing. This is...
I was like, I'm pretty sure I wrote that down right. Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Can we
Sorry.
get back to my idea? Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Do you want to listen to this then?
I'm intent.
All right. So a rebuke impresses a man of discernment. So if you say to me, something that I've come up with or that I'm doing is foolish, because I believe I have discernment, I should course correct. But if I'm a fool, you can whip me 100 times, 100 lashes, and I can go back and do the same thing. And in fact, that's kind of some of the hallmarks of an evil man, is a man that will consistently be rebuked physically and start to take punishment physically, like go to prison. And then it's not a surprise that these guys, and they're always separated out. Some guys will go to prison, you never go to prison again. They learn their lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It could be said. We know guys like that.
Yeah.
And they're good guys now. Man, it's a straight course because they're not trying to ever go back to that place. They figured it out. And then there's other guys that go back and back and back and back and back and back. And I think what separates them is that discerning thing. And there's an evilness to continuing to do the same thing and get those results,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're facing, like this thing says, 100 lashes. So an evil man is bent only on rebellion, meaning well, let's define rebellion. Rebellion, it says, is disobedience against an authority. That's just a plain way of saying it. I have a more biblical way of saying it here in a minute. But if that's the case, then this evil person's only going to be doing that anyways. That's just their course. And regardless of what's going to happen. And then we know that that's the same type of person that'll go, everybody's against me. It's always somebody else's issue. It's never me.
Yeah.
It's never what I've done that's got me to this place. So there's no reflection because they don't have discernment.
Right.
And then a merciful official or a merciless, either way, official will be sent against him. Yeah, at some point in time, the outcome of that will either be here or it'll be God, because we are eternal creatures. So we believe that, even if and this is what's so difficult sometimes to fully comprehend and settle peacefully with, is when you see people that do evil and then are rewarded for it on this plane of existence. And you're like, how's there no justice for these people?
When you explain when you mean rewarded for it, you mean they're just not punished for it?
Sure.
No,
I mean rewarded. I mean, there's politicians that have committed acts in this country, we don't have to get into them, that have done things that I think are just atrocious, that millions of people have died because of. And they're rewarded with large salaries once they leave the presidency. These are wildly rich men and women that now reach these levels of power and authority in our country. And then when they get out of it, they somehow get richer. We talk about this. We don't get into politics here really, but between us friends and anybody out there listening, you know what I'm talking about. And you can feel like, well, they're not following the rules. Why should I? You hear consistently about like senators who get stock tips and make stock decisions on these businesses that'll succeed or fail, and they're wildly rich. And you feel like, what is that? If there's a God, there should be some justice here. We believe, and then we settle our hearts with, that yes, this is an injustice that these people do this. It's disgusting and we don't like it. And even if they don't get justice here, someday they'll have to face the Creator, and the Creator's going to go, they're going to lay all of their stuff before them and go, what should grant you entry in this?
Yeah, that's book of Revelation. It says the books will be open.
That's right.
And God's going to take a look at our lives and see what we did and did not do. Now, thankfully, what we do on this earth, like our works, as we talk about on here, has nothing to do with our salvation. Our salvation is in Jesus, but there is something to be said about the choices and the way that we live.
Faith without works is dead.
That's what James tells us.
So we should still be, you should be able to look at the results of my life, the fruit of my life, and say, this is a man of Christ. And if that's not happening,
it's evident by how you live your life, right?
I think so.
Fruit in your life, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
It's evident by that.
A merciful official might not be here, and that can be frustrating and disappointing, especially when it's so flagrant, and especially when it costs so many people so much. That can be frustrating here. That's why, boy, it's been a real mercy for me, speaking of merciful, to be able to trust that God's got a bigger plan, and to be able to step outside of my own frustrations with earthly things and go like, all right, God, you got a plan. I know. Look at me getting all festered out. Right.
Really, at the end of the day, it's about, I need to focus on what I can control and what I can't control.
That one step again.
Right. And
we know constantly moving back to that.
That's exactly right.
What's the step I can be taking that is for me, for my household, for my sphere of influence?
Yeah. And you can look at those people that are making those. It's the age old question of, why do good things happen to bad people? And we can either focus on that, on why these people who are making poor decisions in life feels like they're getting rewarded. But, the Matthew tells us that store up for yourself treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, where thieves do not break in and steal. But if you're hyper-focused on the earth and what can I gain, what material possessions, what does my bank account look like, and then that becomes my social credit is, my value to what I bring to this world, then you get spiritual blinders to anything else because you're being rewarded. So in your mind, what I'm doing must be good, and I'm here and you're not.
Well, and Jesus talks about the plank in your own eye.
Yeah.
So as Christians, we're going to miss the mark constantly. I do.
Yeah.
So the second part of that thing, when you start going, God, you got a plan, he's going to go, yeah. And can we start working on the plank in your eye?
Yeah.
And then you go, Oh, yeah. Gosh, I'm really looking over there and pointing my finger quite a bit, ain't I? Boy, why don't I go ahead and get that back here and go, okay, me and
Yeah.
where am I at? Oh, I'm falling short in this
Yeah.
way. Let me go ahead and step up in my thing and worry about my sphere once again.
It's that vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So
Oh, yeah, great.
he'll take care of them on that day. They
Mhm.
will face the Almighty God, and they'll have to give an account for the decisions that they made to better themselves in spite of what they're going to do to other people.
Well, let's transition